Hi, Mark here, squinting at you from the beautiful promenade in front of the Federal Parliament building here in Canberra, Australia. You can see behind me the white facade of the building. It is actually built into a hill. You can walk up onto the hill and sit down and have a picnic, talk to some folks. It's a really fascinating building. It's absolutely beautiful. This entire city is absolutely stunning, and I'm here on a stunning day. And this city, interestingly enough, has a really unique history in that it was essentially designed and purpose-built. And that's somewhat rare for a capital, but every capital around the world does have a unique history to it as people make a major decision about where to put their seat of government. And as you've gathered from this video series I've been doing from here in Australia, I like to make a corollary or tie it into building in the AWS Cloud. And I think it's that decision that I want to talk about right now, in that when you're making a decision to build in the AWS Cloud, you're going to have to create basically a primary region or someplace you're deploying first and moving forward. And that has some significant impacts to different areas of your business. So really, if you're going to be deploying in a region that is active, I'll give you a little bit of pan shot as I'm doing this. If you're deploying in a region that has a significant pace of innovation, then you're going to see features faster and faster. Sometimes you're going to pick a region that gets things a little bit slower. So maybe you have to wait for things like AWS Lambda to be prevalent in your region of choice. Now, there are significant impacts sometimes with that. So you want to make sure that you have a good starting region. But one thing that should never slow you down is making a region depending on performance in general. So there are some concerns. Obviously, they're globally distributed, but most of the time, if you're worried about user performance or response to your users, what you can do is mitigate that or offset it by leveraging CloudFront. CloudFront is actually deployed from the AWS Edge locations, which are different than regions. The Edge locations, there's about 73 by the time this video is stopped and uploaded. There's probably more than that, but there's over 70 Edge locations around the world, and these act as a content delivery network. So the vast majority of web-facing applications, you can start caching in this content delivery network and mitigate any performance hit that you would have if you parked all of your assets here in the Sydney region and having visitors from North America coming over. So leveraging a tool like CloudFront is super important to reduce the impact of that decision that you have when it comes to picking your sort of home region. But of course, you can easily build multi-region applications, but sometimes there's a significant cost or operational overhead that you want to be aware of. So picking your home base, picking your capital, doesn't have to be all about performance. You can mitigate that with CloudFront, but you should be aware about the different pace of service rollout and make sure that the region that you pick matches your appetite for innovation. There's lots of options, as you've seen. There's multiple regions around the world, and you're bound to find one that meets your performance and innovation pace, but just something to be aware of before you start deploying.